Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
I cannot believe what I just saw today. Nick Castellanos came up clutch. You're talking about no gimme either. That thing was murdered to deep center field to steal one from the Atlanta Braves after getting your ass handed to you the night before, utilizing way too many arms. Wheeler gives you 7 innings. All right, Anthony and Alvarado have to work out of a little something. But then David Robertson, a new acquisition, says, oh, what's that? You need me for the 9th? I gotcha. Don't worry about it. Nice and easy. Bada bing, bada boom. What a victory. And obviously the big time storyline is, hello, welcome to the party, Castellanos. This team, I beg you to please keep this puppy going. You could talk all you want about Nick Castellanos and his average not looking that bad. And if you look over a certain point of time, it's not as horrendous as you think over the last 7 games. No. I need home runs. This team needs him to hit the long ball. That is why you paid him the big bucks. And I remember hearing a huge debate up in New York when Joey Gallo was striking out nonstop for the Pinstripes. They were the best team in baseball at the time. This was probably a month or so ago. Obviously, New York had a tough July. So this was prior to the All-Star break. This was prior to their tough stretch. They were one of the best teams in all of it. They still are a phenomenal baseball team, obviously. I'm just setting the scene on when this type of discussion was happening, and it does tie together with the Phillies, so bear with me for just one moment. But this dude couldn't hit a damn beach ball. He was an automatic out every single time he was at the plate. He would go 0 for 4. The Yankees would lose. There were a lot of variables into why they were losing, but Yankees fans were so aggravated that they screamed, get rid of Joey. You lost because of Joey. They're 20 plus, 30 games over 500. I'm just speaking facetiously, but you understand my point. How many more wins could they possibly have at that point into the season with how magnificent they were playing? Let's tie that to Nick Castellanos. But I see it differently, and that's why I'm pointing it out. This team is where they are because of a lot of things. But where the Phillies are this season, I think, is a respectful spot and what they probably should be. But if Nick Castellanos got going, it possibly would be a bigger separation from the St. Louis Cardinals. And just a game or two makes a monstrous difference, and it is more breathing room. So it's different from the Joey Gallo thing. I'm using that as sort of the base. Now let's compare that to where the Phillies are with Castellanos. The Yankees were the Yankees, and they're the Yankees. Joey Gallo striking out or going 2 for 4 or 1 for 4 throughout that beautiful stretch before July. That wasn't changing deeply how many wins the Yankees were at and how farther they were from some of the other teams in the league. Castellanos, though, not being pathetic, not being awful, not sucking, not being putrid. Yeah, that's a totally different ballgame for this Philly squad. So please, once again, that's the moral of the story today. Please do better. Keep this up. You saw the reaction from the dugout. You saw his reaction in general, and just hearing him speak afterwards. You saw how happy that crew was. I just really hope that this leads to something. I've been fooled before. I mean, you talk about the distance in between home runs, dating back to July, dating back to May. It's unacceptable. You would think accidentally a ball goes yard. No? By mistake. You're just swinging. You're not thinking about it. There's a pitch left over the heart of the plate, and you just swing. You just swing without any conscious going on, right? It's like you're just doing it. Oh, well, what do you know? I barreled it up and it went deep. But that wasn't happening. It's so hard to be this much of a power hitter going through this level of incompetence. We've been saying it, that there's no way it lasts forever, right? He's too good of a hitter to do this, right? Well, I don't know what it's going to be. You're playing the Washington Nationals, so there is a possibility to let the confidence grow, the morale continue, and the momentum seriously swing. I pray. And I'm excited for Noah Syndergaard, too, by the way, as he's going to get his first nod here in Phillies pinstripes. And speaking of additions, I had an opportunity today on the best show ever to speak with Jason Stark, the Hall of Famer. Always loved hearing him speak about the game and reading his stuff on The Athletic about the game. So it was an honor to ask him some questions today. And we touched on Brandon Marsh, and I asked him, what did you think about the move, of course, and do you believe that he can become a better hitter? And he went into detail about how the Angels utilized him and the way that they were trying to have him change some things, tweak some things within his game and within his swing, and it basically possibly broke him. They think he's so lost and so out there right now that it's possible there's a lot more in his swing than he gets credit for. With that said, though, if I remember correctly, we also heard Dave Dombrowski discuss how the way the Phillies look at it, there's not that much major that needs to be tweaked around. Now, both can be true, where they had him all over the place mentally and dissecting to such a crazy level, but with where he currently is, there is something that could be minor within his current form that could maybe flip the switch to see some damage happen. This kind of reminds me of, well, there was a whole Scott Kingery became completely lost, but there was a Rhys Hoskins one too that he snapped out of it, but he's still not the hitter I thought he would be at this point. Yes, he took you for a ride for 1 month this season, but it hasn't been the consistent Rhys Hoskins that I thought that we were going to get this year. Just speaking of Rhys, where are his numbers statistically at? He's hitting .247. See, sometimes, though, the batting average doesn't tell you everything in the world. Nick Castellanos had a fine batting average for really this whole entire year, but when you watch him play, it has sucked the life out of this team in totality. So you just can't look at that. He's got 20 bombs on the year, huh? Am I a jerk off? Am I a jag off? Am I being too harsh on Rhys? I'll tell you what, though, it just doesn't feel like he's had the full layer of impact than I thought he would outside of that one time period where I can't take anything from it. I mean, you're talking 6 RBI in one game. You're talking about home run. So, oh yeah, I remember it. This isn't just being biased or recency or anything like that. I remember it clear as day. But I'm just a little surprised. 20 home. It just doesn't feel that way all around. This team was down late in the game, stayed with it. They had to get themselves out of some positions. There was a time where Zack Wheeler, I believe this was the second inning or so, got a huge double play ball. Phillies turn 2. Man on third, 2 outs. Nick Castellanos doing some defensive plays, too, where he's making a sliding grab, but got himself out of it with Sir Anthony and Alvarado. You needed to go to Alvarado. Alvarado does it. And David Robertson. That's very important. It would matter more if their next opponent was a little bit more serious. But when you look at all the guys that threw yesterday, Knable getting rocked up a little bit. I mean, the list goes on how many guys they used. You use 3 bullpen players today. It's not nothing, but there's still a Brad Hand available. You think about what you have just fresh, a little bit more fresh. I like their back end of the bullpen. I'm pumped up to see what it can do. And when you get 7 innings out of Wheeler, think about the lack of walks. Think about all the strikeouts. So he left one up. All right. Braves took the lead. You got your 1 earned run. Or see ya. Okay. Love watching Zack. Love watching his dominance for sure. Oh, yeah. Speaking of a double play ball, how about JT Realmuto hustling down first base to beat out that double play to keep everything rolling, to give Nick Castellanos the ability to step up to the dish and have a chance at it, have a crack at it. Hustling down the first base side, it matters so damn much. There's another little detail that I really want to emphasize, and this happened in the earlier sequence of the game, but Alec Boehm can't make the proper play on the ball. It kind of squeaks in and out of his glove. He ends up kicking the ball a bit. Bryson Stott gets it, and he makes a throw to Didi Gregorius, who is over at third base, and they get the tag out at third. Things can get ugly there. You never know, right? You talk about what happened in that second inning to get out of that. They got the double play, but they had a man on third with 2 outs. The Braves let's say it's 2-0. Let's say it's 3-0. Now, maybe Nick Castellanos hits a 2-run shot. Maybe they score 3 runs to tie it, and they're still actively involved in the game, and maybe it goes to extras or whatever it is. It's not like it's impossible to win when you go down 2-0, but just knowing it's deflating. You're on the road. They're in their own ballpark. They crushed you yesterday. So getting that big out at third, it matters. All those little details matter. This team, in years past, and I know we do this a lot, we say last year's team will lose that series. Last year's team will lose that game. That's not where I'm going to go with this. But just date back to previous seasons, Gabe Kapler, Joe Girardi, whatever year you want to specifically enter. I want you to close your eyes, unless you're driving and listening to this on the podcasted version, which, of course, you can find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and all the podcasting platforms. Leave a 5-star rating and a review as well. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it and love you all to death. When they were in a wild card spot, or when they were winning the division, or whatever it was in August, and you felt good about them before an ugly collapse, how did you feel? I remember where they were leading the NL East and nobody was even at Citizens Bank Park, and we all kind of looked around, well, why is it? And then we just thought a little bit deeper and realized, yeah, it's because no one believes in them because we know something's not right. Sure, they're at the top of the division. Sure, they're beating certain teams right now, but it's not there. We're not going to be fooled. It doesn't pass the smell test. And unfortunately, we were right. I wish I could say fortunately we were wrong, but unfortunately we were right. Now think about where we are now. The Padres, Juan Soto, they're getting nuts if you're thinking of the wild card positions. This team, though, and I'm saying this without Segura, without Price, and when they return, I'm expecting explosions. But this team does pass the smell test. This is different. This is a playoff team. Now, what round? Can they win a series on the road? All that stuff. Probably for another day. But when you truly look at the ins and outs and the makeup of this current roster and this build, they're a playoff team. And we mean it when we say it this time. It's not just being biased and wanting it to be true. It's true. It's true. And they responded from yesterday. Lately, you talk about a Pirate series, you do what you're supposed to. You talk about a Washington National series, you do what you're supposed to. They've been doing what they are supposed to, outside of the Cubs one, but hiccups happen all across the board. That was one of their hiccups. It's inevitable you have the hiccup. That was the hiccup. I'm not concerned or worried that something could maybe not be as pretty or gorgeous as we would like to against the Nationals. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Just a quick little 15-minute guy to go over what I saw this afternoon. I want to give a couple shout-outs to people in the chat. Bro, it's one of the hardest working guys in radio. Thank you so much, OG Philly guy. I appreciate you and the kind words. What's up, Don? How are you? Anthony. And Tyler James says, congratulations on the afternoon time slot. Thank you so much, James. He continues, says, you guys are great together. I'm having a blast working with Tyrone, working with Ricky Bowe, working with Jen Scordo. It's only up from here, and it's just fantastic. Every day we're getting more comfortable and having a blast. So I appreciate you tuning in to 97.5 The Fanatic and NBC Sports Philadelphia. Monday through Friday, 2 to 6, and tuning in. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you once we get this off the ground against the Nationals. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next.